Well, I'm a great believer in numbers, and the numbers today were very indicative of the terrific win we had. After our Boston College win, I could see the energy in our team and the excitement of just getting a win after struggling for almost the entire regular season. And then you see today where we go 22 for 28 from the foul line, a terrific job there. We battled them just about even on the boards, 37-36. They won by one. We had 17 assists and only 6 turnovers. That was a huge statistic. And then the job that Anthony Walker did on Justin Champagnie, the first-team all-conference performer, he ended the game 5 for 20, 1 for 8 from 3. So you got to give Anthony and his teammates a lot of credit. And then points in the paint, we had 38-28, and points off turnovers, 22-6. So we're very, very happy with those numbers. And we're excited with the victory and looking forward to playing in the next round tomorrow.
And our first question comes from Michelle Kaufman.
Hey, Jim, congratulations. Why do you think it is? I mean, you brought up all those numbers. I'd written down all those numbers too. Is it just the energy and the excitement that they got to a new tournament and have a clean slate, a fresh start? Why do you think your team wasn't doing this earlier? It was still the same guys, but all 5 guys end up with double figures, and you have like barely any turnovers, all these assists. Where was this a few weeks ago?
You're asking the wrong person. You got to ask the players. You know, one of the things that happens is you try to keep your players upbeat and try to remind them one game, you lose it, move on to the next one and get ready. I think our players almost felt like it didn't matter what we did. We played close so many times and came out on the short end. And the perfect example was the Virginia Tech game. At home, down 11, make a comeback, up 3 with 2 seconds to go. And then all of a sudden they make a 3 to put it into overtime. We got so deflated by that it was very hard for the players to just bounce back immediately. And yet that's what you really have to do. You have to live constantly in the present. You got to figure out what the game plan is. The coaches have got to figure out what the game plan is for the next game. And then the players got to bring the energy and effort and execution to that game plan to make it work. And today, like against Boston College, we scored 80 points against Boston College and 79 today. We haven't seen even 75 in a month. So Cam Auguste, I got to give him a lot of credit because Cam's been playing a lot of the point. You know, so he's like the 4th point guard for this season. Now, we started out with Chris Likes, then he got hurt, then Harlan Beverly, then he got hurt, then Isaiah Wong. Then we thought Isaiah's just doing too much. We moved Cam Auguste over there, and he ends up with, 14 points, 4 assists, and only 1 turnover with 2 steals. So he has a terrific floor game.
Can I ask one quick follow-up about Elijah Alani? I mean, can you just talk about what he has meant to this team and in this game today, some of the assists he had, and just, what of a big factor he is? No one talks about him quite as much as some of the other guys.
Well, we nominated him for all defense because I think of all the guys on our team, he's our best defender. He can guard the ball. He can guard guys off the ball. He's been asked to guard guys, like a Matthew Hurt at Duke, or he's even guarded Amir Sims at Clemson for part of the time. When you have a player who plays hard and he's pretty physical, he's got good athletic ability, I think he's been instrumental in these last 2 victories. Today, he ends up 5 for 11 from the field. He has 6 rebounds, 14 points, 3 assists, and again, just 1 turnover. When you play within yourself, you don't try to do too much, and that's really what we want him focusing on. He made some threes today. He was 2 for 6 from 3. But what helps is he did that early, made a couple of threes, and now all of a sudden he's feeling good about himself. The opponent is thinking, wait a minute, We got to guard him better. That opens things up for somebody else. One of the biggest baskets of the game was Isaiah Wong throwing the ball to Nasir Brooks and then cutting to the basket and getting a dunk on the return pass. And this team has battled so hard to get a win like this in the ACC tournament. Again, I hope will energize us for tomorrow.
Thank you.
And our next question comes from Steve Wine.
Jim, how would you describe your players' reaction to getting this win after everything you've been through this season?
Very, very excited, very emotional. One of the things we asked our bench to do, because we got so many guys not in uniform, we've got Rodney Miller, who was cheering like crazy, Earl Timberlake cheering like crazy, Harlan Beverly. That emotion that they bring, that team spirit that they bring to the bench is very important for the players when they come out of the game to know they're not in this by themselves, that their teammates are there for them. They might not be in uniform. They may not be able to contribute on the court, but they're not sitting there on their hands. They're not distracted watching the whatever. They're into the game.
And our next question comes from Dan Tortora.
Coach, just what you can say about if you feel like the team is catching their stride now at the right time after having that 6-game losing streak, and just how COVID has affected you and what you've seen from the team in such an interesting year where it could be hard to find that comfort zone, especially with injuries and whatnot.
Well, COVID has changed coaching. You know, you have teams that have pauses, teams that games get canceled. It disrupts everything, and those kind of distractions put a team and a coach in an entirely different mental state of mind. You're trying to figure out, what do we do? In our case, we've had so many injuries that we haven't had time to truly practice correctly. The nice thing about where we are right now with just 6 scholarship players is those guys know they're going to play. They know we have basically a walk-on to sub, plays some minutes, and Dan Gack, who did a nice job today on the boards. But when guys know they're going to play and they get to handle the ball a lot, and even without a lot of practices, they've developed kind of a sixth sense of, hey, we're going to play multiple positions. Like Isaiah Wong starts at the point, then Cam McGusty plays at the point. Then Elijah will play at the point. I mean, we've got different guys playing different roles, and it takes a while for them to learn every position. And that's why, you know, you lose a lot of close games because, hey, you're really not in sync because you don't really have a point guard anymore. When we lost Harlan Beverly, that changed everything for our team.
We have time for a couple more questions. The next one coming from Chris Stock.
Yeah, just with Nasir contributing the way he did with the points again, just like from last game, how much does that help you guys to get that inside presence from him, scoring the ball, and he had rebounds, blocks, steals, and then also the challenges of facing Clemson? You've obviously been high on what Amir brings to their team.
Yeah, Amir Sims is in I'd say a class all his own. I think he's the one guy that can play incredible defense on multiple positions. He offensively can score from inside, from outside. He can drive the ball to the basket. He's a good free throw shooter. So he's a major handful for anybody in our league. So he will be the topic of conversation tonight with the coaching staff, and then the message to the players, because he's certainly not a one-man team. He's got a lot of help, a lot of guys who are playing very, very well. Dawes in particular is someone that you have to concern yourself with because he handles the ball and he shoots the three very, very well.